Halloween is just a couple days away, so we are kicking off spooky season, and we got some spooky, scary, real-life stories coming your way. Yeah, for the next few days. It's gonna be pretty crazy. But, speaking of crazy, I am having a cappuccino in today's video. I mean, what's better than some spooky stories with a cozy, warm drink? That's bliss. Our first story is, my brother saw a ghost as a kid. 2 decades later, I realized what he actually saw. If you guys actually like true paranormal stories, True Haunting is a series on Netflix and they just dropped 3 brand new episodes. It's like real, it's crazy. And they have like real footage and stuff. Go watch. Go watch. I was about 7 years old, my brother about 10. It was well past our bedtime when our mom woke up off the couch to put us to bed. Our dad worked construction out of town back then, so it was often just us 3 at the house for a week at a time. Up the stairs and to the immediate right was our parents' bedroom. Going left puts you in the middle of the hallway. Taking another left down that hallway led to my brother's room. The opposite end was my room, which was also across the hall from our upstairs bathroom. At the end of the hallway are window doors that we always kept locked and rarely used. The door on the end led to a balcony overlooking our front yard, and the door on my brother's end opened to a back porch. The house kind of leans into a small hill. I need a sip already. Yummy. My brother and mom both had a habit of waking up in the middle of the night to use the bathroom. I only knew this because I was always a light sleeper and they just couldn't help flushing with the door wide open. This night, however, my brother stopped on his way to his room and came back towards the bathroom. I'm gonna try to pee before I go to bed. The past few nights, I've been too afraid to walk to the bathroom. I kept seeing a man wearing stripes at the end of the hallway. I don't know if my mom wrote it off as my brother telling ghost stories to try to scare me, or if she was already half asleep and didn't catch it, but she didn't react at all to my brother's confession. I, on the other hand, was terrified by it. The fear of seeing a ghost like that at the end of the hallway or through the windows is the reason I started running from the stairs to my bedroom at night. We all did that as a kid. Hell, I would still do that as an adult if I had a house. If I'm turning off the lights, I'm sprinting to my bedroom. There's no other way to do it. Years later, when I was about 18, my mom and I were having a conversation in her car about a dog we had for a very short time when I was little. We were sharing stories about Max's tendencies towards destroying my shoes and other unruly behaviors when my mom blurted out, "Do you remember that time I opened the front door for the cops and Max ran inside to the kitchen and started tearing open that big bag of dog food we had?" This really caught me by surprise because in all the years I lived in that house, we never once called the cops. Weapon owner family in a quiet rural neighborhood, etc. When I say weapon, I mean a pew pew, but we are not allowed to say that here on YouTube. I asked her what she was asking about and she looked equally surprised as if she had just revealed something by accident. Oh, that's right. I never told you because you were too young at the time. One night I woke up hearing noises outside my window, and when I looked, I saw a man staring into my bedroom. She went on to describe how turning on the lights caused him to take off running and how she grabbed my dad's weapon before calling the cops. I can't remember all the details I gave them when they showed up. Tall white male wearing a striped shirt and jeans, short dark hair, something like that. They said it matched the description of a man that they were looking for in the area. It turns out he had escaped from jail on a murder charge. So it wasn't a ghost. Even worse. Actually, I don't know which one's worse.
Both. They're both worse.
Now, I know it sounds so obvious hearing those 2 stories back to back, but it wasn't until a few years ago, in my mid-20s, that I pieced together that my brother had unknowingly warned us about a murderer who spent multiple nights around our home. Terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. I don't know if I would have rather found out that it was in fact a ghost. I don't know which one I would have preferred, to be honest. We're kicking off spooky season today, so I must know, are you guys dressing up for Halloween? If so, what is your costume? What are you being? What are your Halloween traditions? Do you hand out candy? Do you not celebrate Halloween? Very curious. I need to know. I'm not really celebrating or doing anything for Halloween. However, I did have some Halloween events. I went to one recently and the theme was Bridgerton, which was really cool to dress up as. You can see my pictures over on Instagram if you want to see them from the event and some videos. That's about it for me, but let me know what your guys' plans are for this Halloween. Next story, what was she planning to do to me? One time, I went to a bar with one of my friends. I just turned 21, so I haven't been to too many bars up to that point. My friend was drinking on the way to the bar, so he was already pretty drunk when we got there. When I sat at the bar, a cute girl came and talked to me and my friend. She said her name was Candace, and I noticed she had really bright red hair. I assumed that she dyed it. It was pretty, but unnatural. Anyways, this girl was flirting with me and my friend. She could tell my friend was already very drunk. To be honest, I played along like I was drunk already too, since it seemed to be working for my friend. I didn't know if she was just trying to get free drinks, so I told her we didn't have much money. So she offered to buy us drinks. She kept buying us drinks, and I started to get confused as to who she liked between me and my friend. My friend went to the bathroom. Before he came back, he was kicked out by the bouncers because he was too drunk. Candace and I went outside with him. She kept telling him to go home with her. He was so out of it, he could barely answer her. I told her that he was too drunk and that I couldn't let him go anywhere. I didn't want him to wake up hungover in some random house with no car and no idea what happened. That's a good friend right there. Candace kept pushing it, saying that she would take care of him, but I told her no because I had to stay with him. I was more sober than him. He was my responsibility. I told her the only way he was going anywhere was if I tagged along. I assumed she thought that I was jealous or D-blocking. We all know the phrase. But my friend could barely stand and lost interest in Candace already at that point. She immediately started flirting with me and offered to get my friend a taxi to drive him home, and then said we could go to her place alone. Oh, spicy. At this point, I had a few drinks and I was pretty buzzed, so I agreed. We took my friend to the taxi and walked to her car. I stumbled slightly on the way to her car. Wow, you're pretty drunk, huh? She said, smiling as she held onto my arm. Yeah, I said. I don't know why, but I just felt slightly shy and anxious. I hope she wasn't drinking if she's driving. Everything was happening too easy for me and I felt uneasy. We got in her car and we drove down the street. Want to stop at the liquor store and get some more to drink? I'll buy it, so don't worry about paying, she offered. I didn't want to drink any more than I already did. I was already buzzed and I wanted to be able to carry myself throughout the rest of the night. Sometimes I make myself look stupid when I'm drunk, so I didn't want to ruin anything with Candace more than I already did earlier by telling her that my friend was too drunk. I told her I was already drunk enough, but she insisted. Weird behavior. Why is she so insistent on getting you guys drunk? Red flag. I didn't want to seem lame, so I told her to get me a pint of liquor with some apple juice to chase it. She went into the store and came out with a lot more than just a pint. I assumed she wanted to drink more also, and that is why she got a fifth instead of a pint. On the car ride, we passed the bottle back and forth. Okay. So she's quite literally drinking while driving. We passed the bottle back and forth, but she took tiny sips. I tried to take tiny sips, but she kept passing me the bottle and telling me to drink. I somehow managed to drink all of my apple juice and pretend to drink the bottle by spitting the liquor back into the apple juice bottle. I tossed the apple juice bottle full of liquor out the window before she saw it. I didn't want her to know that I was acting drunker than I actually was. She actually believed I was sloppy drunk when I was just simply buzzed. I took a couple more sips of the liquor and finished the bottle. Throughout the car ride, I called her the wrong name a couple of times just to get the reaction out of her. She didn't react to it. She just kept telling me to call her Carla without correcting me. For some reason, I thought she lied to me about her name initially. We drove up to her house. I pretended to trip and I stumbled into her front door. She helped me walk inside by holding me up. She opened her front door. which was unlocked. We walked into her house and she closed her front door and then locked it. I thought that was strange, but assumed she didn't want anyone walking in on us. I told her that I had to use the bathroom. I walked into her bathroom, locked the door, and looked into the mirror. I just felt strange. I felt like something was off. I felt myself becoming more drunk from finishing the bottle earlier. I turned on the sink to make some noise and made myself puke up the liquor that I drank. I flushed and I went to the sink and started drinking the tap water out of my hands to sober up. Well, that's better than drinking it out of the toilet, like me. If you know, you know. Right. I just didn't want to be drunk, but I still wanted to hook up with Candace, so I wanted to pretend to be drunk. I turned the sink off and I could hear her talking to someone. Quote, "He's drunk as hell. He can barely stand up. You do it." Who was she talking to? And do what? I walked out of the bathroom and into the living room. The moment I stepped into the living room, I saw her walking into another room. All I could see was the back of her head, that strange, very bright red hair going into another room. I didn't see her face or anything. I just saw her kind of walk fast into the room. The living room was pretty dark. "Hey, where are you going?" I slurred like I was drunk. She walked back into the dark living room and up to me and says, "Let's go to my room." I looked at her bright red hair and then into her eyes. They were different. Her face was different. It was another girl, but with the same hair. That is when I realized it was another girl with the same wig on. It was a wig the whole time. She had changed it with the girl from earlier for whatever reason. My heart felt like it stopped, but I tried to look like I had no idea it was a different girl. I kind of smiled at her and told her I just needed to use the bathroom one more time and told her sorry, I was so drunk. She said, "It's fine, just hurry up in there." I went into the bathroom and I locked the door. I heard her whisper something to someone again. This time, I think I heard a male voice whisper back. I honestly didn't concentrate on listening to exactly what was said. Something sketchy was going on and I had to get out of that house. I opened the bathroom window and jumped straight out of it and ran faster than I ever have in my entire life. I didn't look behind myself or anything. I just ran through the backyard, jumped the fence, ran through someone else's backyard, hit a road, and ran toward the main road. I kept running down the main road until I saw a 24-hour convenience store. I ran into the store and stood straight at the front of the store in front of the camera. I called a taxi and I went home. I tried to think about what happened that night. What was she or they planning that night? Why did she tell me a fake name? Why was she trying to get my friend and I so drunk? I thought maybe it was a robbery, but she kept spending money on us. She kept buying us drinks and even paid for my friend's taxi cab. And mostly, why did she wear a wig that she gave to another girl to wear? Who was she talking to? What did it mean? And what was in that room that they tried to lure me into? Edit. The next day after this incident, I went back to the house with a couple of friends to see just what was going on. Nobody was there. No cars, no people, nothing. Just an empty house. I ended up finding out that that house was a summer rental, and whoever those people were, they broke into that house and used it for only that night and never came back. I've got a good feeling we probably don't want to know what they were planning to do that night. So many things, so many different thoughts running through my head, all worst case scenario because I watch a lot of true crime documentaries. Just glad you're safe, you and your friend. And thank God you kept a sober mind as best as possible, because imagine you didn't and you just walked into that room and didn't notice. Ooh. That's spooky. We are hopping on hydration station, and don't worry, I'm drinking water, but we are going to be hydrating for me with a cappuccino. Okay? So I'm cheersing you with that today. Cheers. Drink whatever you want, but also drink some water today, okay? I want to show you my cute sweater. I just got it. Hold on. Can you see? It's got little bows and cherries. Urban Planet had a sale, buy one in the store, get an item free. So this bad boy and another one total cost me $20. I love it. It's oversized. I purposely did that. Isn't it so freaking cute? Also, my nails. I put a new set on. I did it myself. They kind of match. Unplanned, but anyways.
That's my new sweater.
Next story, I posted about my stalker on Reddit and he found it. I don't know if I'm prepared. Quick backstory, I've had a stalker for about 4 years. He was never aggressive or sent me proper threats, so stubborn as I am, did my best to ignore him and not give him the satisfaction of showing him any fear. To be honest, after a while, I also wasn't scared anymore since he almost never came close to me. I know being stalked can affect people severely, even in a case like mine, and that is totally valid, but I guess I just got lucky and was never really psychologically affected by it. His stalking behavior mostly just consisted of sending me letters and gifts, such as photos of my own apartment building from the outside, things he dug out of my trash can, and so on. I called the police many times, but they weren't able to, or really tried, to be honest, to catch or identify him. About 3 weeks ago, I discovered the German version of a Reddit thread, and I thought that people might want to know about what it's like to have a stalker. So I barely use any social media aside from Reddit, and have no personally identifying information here. I didn't think that he would ever see it. One person even asked, "Does he know you're putting him on blast on Reddit?" And I answered, maybe it would make him angry. Maybe he'd be turned on. Don't know, don't care. Well, I know the real answer now. He did see it and he did not like it. Like I said, he was never aggressive and never came too close to me. The closest I know of was when he sent a picture of myself unlocking my apartment door, taken from the corner of the steps above. But I consider myself a pretty vigilant person, and I'm thinking that he might have hid a camera there instead of him actually being there to take a photo himself. I think I would have noticed him if he did. I don't know how he got wind of the Reddit thread, but he did. The next week was quiet, no letters, and I didn't see him anywhere. Then he left me letters with printed out questions and my answers from the Reddit thread. He also left me a long, hateful letter towards my boyfriend about an issue I had posted on the German version of Am I the A-hole? His letters were never hateful like that before, though he never seemed happy with my boyfriend. He wrote about how I should share the spotlight with him since I got so much attention thanks to him. A few days later, I got a gift, but this time he didn't leave it in my mailbox or at my car like he usually did. No, this time he left it inside the apartment building, right in front of my door. I didn't take it inside my apartment, but I opened it outside. It was a pretty big box, which was also unusual, and it was taped shut. As I'm typing it out, I realized that this wasn't a good idea at all, and it could have ended very badly for me. But luckily, he didn't send me a bomb or anything. He did, however, send me. We have a point form list. Several zip ties, a roll of tape, the kind you use to tape off walls when painting, nothing that you could use to restrain someone, a TV remote with most buttons picked off, a pack of Band-Aids with a few used ones. Not actually, they were just made to look that way, according to the police, and a framed picture of me. And you're not psychologically affected by this? I could tell the picture was taken a few days ago and my boyfriend was next to me, but he was cut out of the picture. The frame was shattered and the package was full of glass shards, clearly more than just what could have fallen out of the frame, that they were also intentionally put inside the crumpled newspaper that was stuffed in there to keep it all in place. I called the police right away and I gave it to them. They were more concerned this time and told me they would send out patrol cars more frequently. He didn't show up or leave me any letters or gifts for about another week and a half. But 8 days ago, it started again. I found letters in my mailbox where he wrote about how he wasted his time on me, how I haven't been appreciating his effort, how he was wrong about me being special. 5 days ago, I left my apartment in the morning and I heard a crunch sound as I stepped on my doormat. He put broken glass under it at night. I went off to work because I was in a hurry and was just going to make my boyfriend call the police, but then I found my car had also been vandalized. The sides were scratched, lights smashed, and the windshield had a phrase painted on, quote, "It's time soon, miss," my last name. I'm running away and changing my identity at that point. Actually, I probably would have done that about 8 weeks ago. I went back inside and I called the cops myself. They found the same phrase on a note under the doormat. This time, they really took me seriously, which might have been because I was just pissed at this point, which I made very clear. If for some reason you're like me and just too stubborn to be afraid of a stalker like mine, then all of this, the letters, the gifts, photos, even the damn glass under my doormat, are just really annoying and inconvenient. But my car was useless to me now, and the threat scared even me. I did, however, have a dash cam in my car, and it caught everything. The police took the footage as evidence, and they told me they'll look into it further and promised me to send more patrol cars again. Then it was quiet for 2 more days, until 2 days ago. Someone rang the doorbell at just after 4 a.m. My boyfriend and I got up, but we were both hesitant, but I saw blue lights outside, and just as I got up, I heard them shouting, "This is the police, open the door." They told us they were called by one of our downstairs neighbors who came home from his night shift about an hour earlier and heard someone else enter the building after them before the door fell shut. My neighbors kind of know my situation, and I've asked them to make sure that they don't let strangers into the building. This neighbor then went into his apartment and looked through the peephole. We have motion activated lights in the stairway, so he waited to see if they turned back on. They did. Then he saw a middle-aged man walk upstairs. Above this neighbor are only me and my boyfriend and a single mom with 3 kids who probably won't be getting any visitors at 3 a.m. So he called the police. They came and found my stalker 1/2 floor above me on the stairs. He should have been able to see the cop cars since there is a little window up there and they had their lights on, but he either missed them or he wanted to get caught. They found a pocket knife on him and he confessed to being my stalker right away. He's finally caught. They got him. It took 4 years, a provocative Reddit post, and one very vigilant and caring neighbor, but he is finally gone. For now, at least. He is facing several charges, and I've collected every single piece of evidence over the past 4 years. I don't know what kind of outcome I come to expect, but for now, I've finally got some peace. Terrifying. Also, I really want to know if you knew this man. Has this man ever met you? Did he meet you at work? Did he have any kind of interaction with you? Like, why you? How did he find you and start this obsession? Like, I have so many questions. Very happy that he was found and caught, and I hope you remain safe for the rest of your life. Well, we are off to a strong start, and we got some more spooky real life stories on the way the next couple of days to lead us into Halloween. So stay classy out there, stay sassy, stay spooky, and I'll see you tomorrow.